Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm here for love. That's what I'm doing here. I'm here for love. That's what I'm dreaming of.
This is Dates and Mates with your host, Damona Hoffman.
Ooh, my lovers. It's so good to be with you again this week. This is Damona Hoffman, certified dating and relationship coach, in studio here with my co-host, the CEO of the Techspert app, Mr. Ray Christian. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for sharing your Techspert tea with me.
You look so fresh.
I kind of made it sound like the Techspert tea. It's not like gossip that you spill. It is a T-shirt that you can win if you are the top winner on Techspert, which I wasn't, but you know, I do know people.
We make exceptions. You know people who know people.
And I think it's good. It's a good color on me. If you're not watching on the live stream, you should check it out on Facebook, on Damona Hoffman Facebook. Yeah?
That's high fashion right there.
High fashion. Thank you.
You're looking good.
You know me in high fashion. Producer Thomas,
Yes, Miss Damona.
you're high fashion as always.
As always, my Salvation Army chic.
You're so consistent.
Yeah, very consistent.
We should make that a hashtag, Salvation Army Chic.
Sure.
That's
I'd
a
love
look.
to start an internet movement.
You're like a walking vacation, bro.
I'm a walking vacation. It's true, yes.
I hear Jimmy Buffett in my head right now.
Yeah.
Well, another thing we're going to hear a lot more about this week is a question of love. Not to beat a dead horse, but I mean, it's a good show, right, Ray?
Oh my God, you're such a TV star.
Stop it. All right, so for those of you who are just coming into the Dates and Mates show or who have been living under a rock, I'm the host of a new TV series called A Question of Love, and on that series I take 3 couples through a relationship experiment where they're going to move in together. Well, they have moved in together for 30 days, and they have to answer these deep, dark questions that will help them see if the person that they're with is truly the one. And today, I'm super excited because we're going to kick today's show off with a guest from the show, Nikki Sunshine. Let me give you her intro. She is an actress, stand-up comic, producer, improv artist, and writer. And, of course, she's among the group of lovebirds that's going through the questions of love with me. And she's now also joining me via Skype on Dates and Mates. Please give big smooches to Nikki Sunshine.
Hello.
Hi.
Nikki. Girlfriend, You are so brave for embarking on this journey with me and with the Question of Love team. First of all, what the heck would possess you to do a show like this where you have to ask your significant other, and you and Jamie had already been dating over a year, when this show started. So you're really putting your real relationship on the line when you go on a show like this and ask each other these deep, dark questions and move in together. What would possess you to do this?
Well, I guess I'm an oversharer. As a stand-up comic, I put my darkest secrets out there in the public, in front of everyone. So I have no problem sharing my humanity. And Jamie is a little more private, but I felt like, you know what? This can either make us or break us, and let's just go for it.
Hopefully he felt the same way.
Yeah, he felt the same way.
So the show has obviously finished filming. What is it like having to kind of keep your life story under wraps, Nikki, even though it's already wherever you guys are now in your relationship? I don't know. I want to know, but you can't really talk about it.
Do you have
is
to
that
go
strange?
out in secrecy?
Well, I try to be a little low key, but certainly, even before we filmed the show, and the comedy circles in New York City are pretty small. So it's like, oh, did you hear so-and-so is dating so-and-so? So it was always like people would ask and be curious about our relationship. Like, how can 2 comics like be together in a functional relationship? And so now that the show is aired, there's even more like, just people want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, like, what's going on with you guys? Are you getting married? People ask me, are you getting married? Are you pregnant? Are you this? Are you that? And so there's certainly just people want to be all up in my business.
Don't they? Well, I mean, I guess that's sort of the point of reality TV.
Yeah.
People want to be all up in your business. You know, one thing that the show really didn't tell is how you two met.
Right. Well, I've known Jamie for probably 8 or 9 years. We met at New York Comedy Club, and at the time, he was married. He was married with a kid, and so there was never really any attraction there. I just thought that he was a gentleman, a very upstanding guy. He never made any like passes at me or was inappropriate. He just was, just friendly and professional at all times.
But
So,
kind of cute. But kind of cute.
yes, it's kind of cute. Yeah, he was cute. Skinny but cute.
Who's better on stage?
Ooh.
Oh, we have our different styles. You would have to be the judge of that. But Nicky Sunshine, I'm always shining. So
Yeah. So you mentioned when you met him, Jamie had a child. Now he has 2 children from
Yes.
previous relationships.
yes.
Had you ever dated anyone with kids in the past? Was that a new thing for you?
I have dated people with children in the past, but nothing like this. Nothing that was as serious. Like the kids were kind of always, they're away with their moms. They weren't like up close in front in my face a lot. So
Well,
yeah.
through this experiment, we actually move you guys in together, so there's nowhere else for them to go. They live there part of the
Right.
time, so that I'm sure brought up a lot of challenges, we'll say, that people will see on the show. We
should
talked
say that Jamie's kids really, they're perfection. I mean, they're very well-mannered children. They're beautiful children. I got along with them well. There were never any situations where it was like an ugly meltdown, like, Daddy, we don't want her here, or we don't like her, or anything like that. So, just in case people were wondering, it's never been like Nikki versus Jamie's kids or anything like that.
If I'm speaking objectively, I'd probably say as I meet a girl, I'd prefer that she doesn't have kids. But
Right.
I also have come to the realization that people's children is in a lot of ways a window into their soul. So if they've
Yeah.
got good kids, that's just another sign that he's a good dude. He's got good kids. That's the type of person he is. Did his kids, have they impacted you and kind of sharpened you?
Well,
Or
I
softened
say,
you?
right. I would say him being the father that he is, I really have that much more respect for him, because my family history is checkered with, abandonment, and me always wondering, like, wow, if my grandfathers had stuck around, what type of people could my parents have been? So by him loving his children and being a hands-on parent, I really look at him as more of a desirable mate. And I feel more confident that, wow, this is somebody that I would definitely have children with, because he's that great of a dad. And in terms of his children sharpening me, I think I've had like somewhat of a potty mouth before. So I'm like a little more conscious of not just being too raunchy. And also just given the fact that, wow, I could possibly have a future with this person, I feel a responsibility to, help him raise his children. And that means for me to step up my game on all levels. Like a lot of parents feel that way. Like, oh, when my child came into my life, I felt like, I just wanted to be a better person. So I feel like by me interacting with his children, they just make me want to be better.
That's inspiring. I wish I
Yeah.
felt that way. No, but I actually will say having children makes me a lot less risk adverse. Makes me more risk adverse, actually. That's what I meant. Like you think, oh, well, I got to be around for these folks, so I'm not going to go bungee jumping today. You have to make decisions for other people. But I'm curious, not to, get all up in your business, even though we're already all up in your business.
Get up in it.
So we know Jamie had some past relationships, obviously, that were pretty serious. Was
Yeah.
there anyone serious for you before Jamie came along?
Oh, woof. I would say that in the past, right before I dated Jamie, I dated somebody else that was in the entertainment genre. And it wasn't really serious per se. It was more of like a hookup that shouldn't have manifested beyond a hookup. It just turned into kind of like a crazy soup of how do I get out of this, because this isn't going anywhere. So that was prior to Jamie, and I would say that was more like a maybe a physical sexual type of thing. There was no long-term plans or compatibility. Before that, I was kind of in a relationship that was quite dysfunctional with someone that was married, separated, who knows. It went on for way too long. It was like a 3-year relationship of a whole bunch of foolishness. And during that period of my life, like mentally and professionally, I was in another place. But I think it was kind of a dependency, like a toxic codependency. There were some pros, but definitely a lot of cons. But that relationship long term wasn't going anywhere either. So I feel like I have had a history of hooking up with guys, and like drugs and alcohol were like the catalyst that kind of drove us into, okay, well, I guess we're together now. Let's see what we can do with it. But I've never been at a place where it was like, okay, I'm almost married, or we're really going to do this. And I cite a lot of these relationships in connection with my own family history. And I think when you look into the show, like one of the great things about Damona is it's kind of like we got to get down deep into the nitty gritty of who you are to figure out what type of problems and baggage you're bringing into this relationship and why it can't be as successful as it could be. So, you know,
And I think it's like it's not even. I don't want to say baggage, Nikki, but you know, I think we have experiences that leave an imprint on us, and they leave us with stories that we continue to tell ourselves. So, you know, and on this week's episode, you revealed that was the story from the women in your life, and that was the experience. It sounds like now I'm learning, even just learning now, that was the experience that you had before Jamie. So it makes sense that it's hard for you to take Jamie at his word, because your past experiences and all the stories that you were told when you were young about men did not paint the picture that Jamie is painting for us right now.
Right. And maybe me holding on to this notion that men are unreliable really stopped me from moving forward in relationships years ago, you know, or pursuing like viable candidates for marriage, I think.
They say, Nikki, that people that have been abandoned will tend to abandon first, so that their lovers, when their father or whatever family members abandon them, so that new people can't hurt them the same way.
Yeah.
And you kind of alluded to that, I think, on the episode 1, or maybe it was the teaser. As you're battling with that, when you said, I don't understand why I can't dive into this, as you're battling with those feelings, are you aware of them? Are you able to step back and say, this is me manifesting abandonment issues, I need to stop it? Or are you just in the moment and you're doing what your id or your lizard brain is telling you what to do?
Right. I think that's a great question, Ray. And I'm really not conscious that I'm dealing with abandonment issues. It's just I get an anxiety over me, and I just say, you know what? I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if that, you know, I'm not conscious of it, but that's just how I feel, that it's an anxiety that I don't know if this is right.
I'm glad that you voiced that, Nikki, because I think there's a lot of women that are listening, and men, who probably have felt that and don't know what that is when it's coming up. When you feel anxiety in a relationship, is because something is not right. It's either something is not right and settled within you, or something in the relationship is not right. So you have to really tune in and pay attention when you get those feelings. And I know a lot came up for you this week as you're moving in together and blending your lives. It makes sense that those triggers get pushed.
Do you have advice as you've grown and matured, Nikki, on how to deal with that for the audience out there when that anxiety kicks up, and in retrospect you know it's abandonment issues? Do you have advice on maybe how to handle that?
Well, I would say to all the women and the men out there, that anxiety clearly is a sign that something's not right, and you have to do the work on you to figure out like what's happening with me, what's stopping me from really prospering in relationships. And I think, talking with Damona and her asking me the right questions, I was able to kind of bring up all of this stuff that I didn't even know was there from my past and my upbringing, to say, okay, these are the factors, these are the pieces that I'm dealing with. And so how do I navigate? How do I acknowledge? How do I move through my fears to really, try to be a functioning partner in a relationship?
And I think a lot of people are watching the show saying, we love the questions, and now I want to ask these questions of my partner. But I think you bring up an important issue. It's an important thought. You should also be asking those questions of yourself. And so sometimes, like, if I hit resistance in something in my life, my first question is, what's the learning here? Like, if you can get out of the, oh, woe is me, or I'm feeling the anxiety, and get to the why and what can come out of it, sometimes that can keep you in a more constructive place. And, sometimes it is about the relationship, and sometimes it is about other stuff that you're bringing into it. But there's one thing that happened this week, Nikki, that I got to ask you, because I didn't quite get it. And, I get to work with you in between different activities that I prescribe or suggest for you, but I didn't throughout the process get to see how those things played out. So I suggest that you guys created a space for yourselves, have some pictures of yourselves up on the walls and not just the pictures of the kids. So you did a photo shoot this week, but you were kind of getting annoyed with Jamie. The photographer picked up on it. Everyone at home picked up on it, but the why was not apparent to me.
I think it might be my own self-image issues. Going into the whole photography session, I felt a lot of anxiety. Like, oh, what am I going to look like on camera? And does this outfit look right? And, I don't want to mess this up. So I would say it's more about me dealing with my own stuff. And I must say that for women, sometimes we have to keep it real and say, you know what, my self-esteem isn't where it should be. It really isn't. And that plays into how you treat your partner and how you function in that relationship. And I've even had family members, after episode 1 aired, one of my close family members, the first thing that they wanted to talk about regarding the show was my appearance. Just very hypercritical, like, oh, you didn't look good in your clothes. You looked fat. You really need to go to the gym. You need to do this and that. And when people, give you that type of feedback or are really critical over a period of time, years, that can impact how you see yourself. So I think it was just more like anxiety about, am I going to look good?
Speaking of that, Nikki, you're no stranger to the flashing lights, being on stage, doing a performance, obviously. But I would imagine that's a horse of a different color compared to when your life is being followed around by a camera crew, and you forget when you watch reality TV that there's like a sound guy and a camera guy and a producer around all these intimate scenes. So even though you're no stranger to the camera, what was the biggest adjustment or surprise to you about having a camera crew invade your life?
I think the biggest adjustment was not looking too broke. Not looking like let's try to hide how ridiculous this actually, like, we didn't even want Jamie's car in film, period. So it was almost like, okay, well, let's make sure that we have the refrigerator stocked and, put this away or that away. But in terms of me exposing myself and the relationship, I really didn't care that much. And filming with Jamie, like, I feel comfortable around him. And when we were filming together, there's just like a natural chemistry and just hanging out, fun type of vibe. I really wasn't that conscious. So a lot of the conversations, they come off real because we were just being real with each other. But I think exposing and opening up your household to people, and like even when Damona in episode 1, it was like to look at Damona's face when she looked at the couch where we had to sleep. When the kids came, it was like, oh shit, oh, this is like, and then when we went into the room, like you're looking around.
I was just trying to figure out how you could both fit on one couch. I'm like, this thing doesn't pull out or anything. Like your feet have to be in his face. There's just not enough room.
It was priceless. But, that was,
I'm sorry. The look on Mom's face when she found out that the kids were moving in with her was priceless too.
Oh yeah.
She was real surprised. That was news to her.
That was funny. That was really funny.
What do you feel like? I know you can't tell us what the ultimate outcome of the show was for you and Jamie, but what do you think was the biggest learning that you took away from this process?
The biggest learning that I took away from it is the common denominator and ground zero has to be the love that you have for each other. And if you really have that connection with someone, then all the other stuff on top of it, you can work through it. And it's really big of me to say what I'm saying because I have so many anxieties still about money and all of that. But you can see it even in episode 1 that the connection is genuine that I have with this person. And so that's the most important thing going into a relationship, and then have the hope and the faith that everything will work out.
That's a mic drop for me. I could not agree more. Like all the other stuff, the money, what their job is, do some other people, friends like him or her, it doesn't really matter. It's like behind closed doors. Are you guys just in love? Can you not get enough of each other? Are you sleeping on the couch? It doesn't matter. Do you just love each other? That's all that matters.
Well, and I must say, different folks for different strokes, because there are the Melania Trumps out there that want the money and want the power and want the football player and want the lifestyle. And that's your personal choice. But just know there are pros and cons to every situation and every relationship that you get into. And if you're marrying for money, then, you're going to have to deal with certain things. If you're marrying a guy or in a relationship with someone that has financial struggles or has to pay child support, then, there are cons to that and there's stuff that you're going to have to deal with. But what's your baseline happiness and the baseline reality that you want? And then you got to figure it out what you're willing to deal with from there.
Well, I think it's very apparent that you and Jamie both care a lot about each other, and I can't wait to see how it plays out through the rest of the series. A Question of Love is every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on FYI Network. And I know you're both comedians, so there's probably fans of the show that are like, when can I see Nikki Sunshine on stage? What else have you been up to, and where can people see you?
Yes. Okay. So I have a big show coming up. It's called Freak Out. It's down at Stonewall in the Village. And it celebrates diversity and sexuality. And so that's going to be on July 19th. But every Sunday at Broadway Comedy Club at 9:00, I appear on Sunday Night Live. And I'm currently workshopping my one-woman show. It's called Confessions of a Massage Parlor Madam. And that's that's a whole other world. But I'll be performing that again in September.
Is this an autobiographical one-woman show?
It is indeed. It is indeed.
My God, that sounds like another TV series that we're gonna have to see.
Maybe there'll be some couch surfing stories in there.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll stay tuned for that. I know people can find you online at NickySunshine.com, and you're also on Twitter at Sunshine Comedy. Do you want to hear a really quick factoid, Ray? This is the craziest thing.
Indeed.
Nikki and I actually went to college together. We did not know before we started working on this show that we were going to be working together. And then we were in the same dorm. We were in a 50-women dorm. So not only were we at the same college, but we both lived in the tiniest dorm on campus at the same time and were cohorts in college. Isn't that random?
Wow. 2 ships in the night.
I know. Crazy.
Coming together.
Crazy. Well,
That's
I'm
amazing.
glad that we've reconnected, and I look forward to seeing more.
Congratulations, Damona. on Question of Love. You look fabulous. Your advice is spot on. I just love to see your face pop up and give your assessment of the relationship drama that's unfolding. So kudos to you.
Well,
Keep it up.
thank you. And kudos to you. And I hope everyone listening will check us both out every Tuesday on FYI. Thanks, Nikki.
Bye.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have some very provocative Techspert questions. Speaking of the questions of love, we've got the questions you posted on Techspert right after this in Technically Dating.
You ready for this?
Here we go.
Yeah. I'm really nervous.
When do you think we'll be ready for marriage?
Good question. I don't know.
We're moving in together for the first time to a brand new book. Love you. I lied and hurt a lot of people.
You burned me a few times, and that's when I was just like, no more.
Do you think our love can overcome our cultural differences? I haven't even met your mom.
My mom doesn't even know that you even exist.
I'm gonna be responsible for your kids.
Why would I do that? Have I ever asked you for money?
No.
Get it together.
You know he have somebody in his life.
She needs to know who you are.
I don't want to do this at all. I don't like crying on camera. I don't want to do this.
You can't lie to the girl. You gotta tell the truth.
If you're my sister and you have love for me,
Go over there and be honest with her.
do you want to stay in this relationship?
Welcome back to Dates and Mates. So, Ray, we've been talking a lot about the questions of love. You have a few questions of your own that have been posted on the Techspert app.
I think we've been doing questions of love here for a while now.
Yeah,
on
right.
Dates and Mates, and you just took it to another level.
Another level. And I'm still wearing my Techspert tee.
You know, Damona, the team at Techspert went scrounging through the kitchen junk drawer.
Oh,
Junk drawer.
that was a throwback to Question of Love, huh?
Oh, that was.
That was the scene on the first episode. They went
Right.
through the junk.
They found the Jamaican
That's
coaster.
a really hard thing to say. Junk drawer.
Junk
Say
drawer.
Say
Junk
it
drawer, junk
5
drawer.
times.
Yeah, wow.
Junk drawer. Junk drawer.
Junk
Junk drawer.
drawer, junk
Junk drawer.
That is a really tricky
On a new
one.
tongue twist.
Sounds like a new rap
Even
song.
harder when you're drunk. And we found some really strong questions of love. And let's get started.
Technically Dating.
This is from a female here in the great country of Canada. They're like the attic of North America. She says, my boyfriend is great, but he sucks at texting, especially when he hangs out with friends. Like last night, he was so distracted and didn't message me back until the morning. I've brought it up to him, but that's just how he is. I'm a bit annoyed about last night, but don't you think it's worth saying anything?
I just need to clarify what she means by he sucks at texting. Because I get a lot of complaints about guys that suck at texting. Like they don't know what to say. They're not flirty and interesting over text. What she's actually saying is he is a poor communicator when he's out with his boys, which is a whole different thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Not communicative.
He's not communicative. And so, first of all, we have to assess if this is a realistic expectation. Like, if he's going out with his friends, can he just have some time out with his friends without it being a thing where he has to text you all the time? Or is it a thing where, you know, you're thinking about him and you're worried about him and you want him to just text you when he gets home, that he got home safely, or something like that? But he shouldn't have to text you the whole time he's out with his friends. I wouldn't say that makes him suck at texting. That makes him have a life which you should be happy about, that he has more things going on in his life than just you.
And might make you just needy. If he's doing a boys' night and you want a bunch of texts back and forth, it's like, let him be in the moment where he is. If he's with you, wouldn't you be annoyed if he's like texting all of his friends the whole time? I totally agree. I think you nailed it. It's like, but I would say if he's consistently stepping over the line on this, and like whether it's work or wherever he is, even when he's not with friends, he's a bad texter, takes 4 or 5 hours to respond. Yeah, that's stepping over the line of, that's a habitual line stepper, as the late great Charlie Murphy once said. But if it's just when he's out with friends, yeah, let him be in the moment. Get off his back.
So does that make you a bad texter if you don't respond consistently for 4 to 5 hours?
If it's I think it does. I mean, I'm not the best person on this, but I tell my girlfriend when I'm at work, I go into zones. I turn off my phone, I turn off everything, and I just go work for 90 minutes straight on one topic. But 2 hours is a bit different. 90 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, that's different. If it's always like 4 or 5 hours later or more, that's a problem. If it's habitual. But if it's just when he's out with the boys, let him have some fun. Get off his back, goddammit.
How do you really feel?
All right, we have another question from a young lady from Canada, and she says, I'm 12 years older than my boyfriend, and we have a good relationship. I do feel judged, though, by the people around him, especially before meeting me. But once they do, they tend to like me. Is it a big deal that I'm older than him, or am I being foolish thinking this could work?
It's not a big deal, honey, if you don't make it a big deal, right? So the judgment about the people around, from the people around you, shouldn't matter if you're really into him. It sounds to me like she's having her own concerns about this relationship, and that she's imposing on other people. You know what I mean? Like she's saying, oh, they're looking at me. And I don't think you should really care if you're really into that person. I mean, and I don't think we revealed her age. She is 33. So 12 years, I would say, is a bit of a gap there. And she's probably feeling the difference in a 21-year-old guy. Wait, that's good math, right? 21.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks, producer Thomas. A 21-year-old guy is in a very different place.
Well, yeah, he might still be in college, so that's kind of weird, I think.
That's assuming he's going to college.
Yeah, but it's like, you know.
Not just your boy toy.
Yeah.
I love the concept of like create your own reality and make your own perception of how your world is. On the other side of that coin, this is a problem. This is in some cases, unfortunately, age is actually more than a number. It ain't just a number. And this is one of those scenarios. 12 years, he's 21. He's a little 21-year-old dum-dum. No, that's too much.
Okay, let's say she's 50 and he's 38. Is that a problem?
Nah, I wouldn't say so, actually. I don't know necessarily why. Well, no, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're an adult at that point.
But 21 to 33, that's like child's play and
like
grown.
What, he just could buy a drink at a bar this year. It's like, I'm going to date that guy.
Right. Yeah. You bring up a good point, though. Does later life age gaps matter as much? And I think no. I would posit that a good minimum is that both people in the relationship, if they're over the age of 35, then it doesn't matter the age gap. Below the age of 35, if either party is below that age, you're playing with fire. And go date someone your own age.
I just have to ask, fellas, would you say the same if the man was 35?
A 35
or 33.
A 33-year-old
and
man,
the
I
woman
still
was
think
21.
I think 21 is too young for a 33-year-old person.
I think the answer gets a little bit more blurry, but I would say yes, because 12 years is too much. 11's the cutoff. 11 years is a generational gap. 12 years is too much, but it does get a little bit... I would soften my stance when it's the older male, younger woman. It's just a little bit more with nature, I think.
You know, it's funny that I dated this guy before Seth, I might have mentioned before. He was... So I was like 25. I was 24. I met him at speed dating for 25 to 35. And I was 24. And he turned 35.
Oh, you were kitten fishing. You snuck in.
You know what's so funny?
Kitten fishing.
I have had the worldview of myself being 35 for like 20 years, honestly. So it literally didn't even occur to me. I was going with my girlfriends. Most of my girlfriends were 10 years older than me. So I was going with my girlfriends, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm in that age group. And it wasn't even until like we were dating, and then he was like, wait a minute, you're 24? And he was really uncomfortable with it. And I was like, listen, old man, I'm the one that should have a problem with it. You shouldn't have any problems. Like this is not really a problem for you, okay? But I think that ended up, I mean, also he was an idiot. He was a 35-year-old man-child. And actually Seth and I are the same age, and he ended up being like much more mature than this guy. But I think that was a big issue and why things couldn't move forward, because he was like weirded out by the fact that I was a 24-year-old trapped in a 35-year-old's body.
I also feel like I just wouldn't have that much to like really, really talk about with someone like that's like if right now if I was dating like a 35-year-old, like we just have a different worldview. I feel, you know what I mean? It's like
I know.
Well,
I
had
have
plenty of
nothing
ti-
to
I
talk
had
about with
plenty
you,
to talk-
Thomas.
yeah, no, I mean like if we're not dating, so you know. But,
We're dating
we're
show
dating.
dating.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a little bit of a disconnect just in terms of what you've experienced, what you know, that kind of thing.
I don't endorse older women, younger men, especially with a gap like this, for a true relationship. But if it's just her trying to get her rocks off and go with a young virile, virile, studly young man for a little bit, go for it. Have fun, but don't expect long term.
But, I mean, she's 33, so if she is looking for long term, those eggs ain't getting any younger. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. We have a young fella, and he says, currently dating and in love with my best friend. We've been dating for almost a year and have been best friends for 8 years. And she finally fully cut things off with her ex, but still seems to desire him sexually. And the only way she desires me sexually is if she's drunk. Ugh. She tells me I'm still friend-zoned, even though she's in love with me and their sexual desire for her ex also affects it. Since we are in love, we want to fix this, but it seems like it's not going to get any better. Please help.
You are in love with her friend. She is not, it sounds like, in love with you. If the only way that she sexually desires you is when she's drunk, she is trying to medicate her feelings, and that's a really dangerous place to be in. And honey, that is not fair to you either. So if, first of all, this is just a whole lot of wrong. She should not be still chasing her ex. She should not only need to be drunk to only sleep with you when she's drunk.
Right.
And also she should not tell you that you're friend zoned.
That's a hilarious punking, by the way, to do to your current boyfriend
Why
or
would she
girlfriend.
say that, you
Like,
think?
it's sad, but it is kind of funny. It's like, get out of here. You're still in the friend zone, bruh.
Why would she do that, though? He's already so insecure about it. Like, this is what I hate. Remember, men love bitches, and there are these women that will just manipulate the situation and know that the guy is into them, and they could just say whatever they want, and he's just going to be that much more into her because it gives him a chase to pursue.
It's just so true, and it's ridiculous. He's sprung on her, faux show, and it's put him in a bad spot. Go with a little relationship jujitsu. Remember, the heart wants what it can't have oftentimes, so start pulling back. Give her a little bit less. And then when she complains, well, I don't get to see you as much. What are you doing? You never respond as much. Then you've got a platform. Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm having an issue because you still have feelings with your ex, and I don't think you're ready for this. So I'm going to pull back a little bit and explore my options because this is bad.
And then you say in a really pissy voice, well, now you're friend zoned. And see what happens. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. That would not be constructive.
Oh, my God. That's such a good line to punk somebody that, that's great. You've just been putting the friends on. All right. So we have a question from an unnamed poster. He or she, probably a he. He says she never replied and was going to hope she answered the question that I posted in this conversation and then ask if she's free for a drink this week. Any suggestions for a follow-up? And now we have some role-playing. I'll be in the blue. Hey, guapa. So I have an idea.
That means pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hola, guapa. So I have an idea of something cool we could do. Are you free tomorrow or Sunday? And then there's a wait, and then there's a delay. Double text coming in. I'll make sure to bring the mariachis, too. They've been asking about you.
Oh, the mariachis. You can't say no to them. Tomorrow and Sunday are kind of crazy for me, but maybe next week/weekend.
And then another pause for a while, and he says, hey,
For a
stranger.
day.
For a day. And then, hey, stranger. Yeah, of course. Let's try this coming week since I might be out of town next weekend. And then an awkward another day went by, and he says, how was the weekend, Sarah? Did you make it to Coyote Ugly and dance topless on the bar? Or was that just me?
Nice tried humor there at the end. Not totally successful. Like, that's the kind of thing you say when you're already in a banter with somebody. But when you're trying to get her to respond, she probably was like on the fence and was like, no, this D-bag. That's what she said. Delete, block. So
He's about to get friend zoned.
oh, he's so close. It's like he has the idea right. The execution is just a little bit off. And also maybe the person. Like, but she did say maybe next week and weekend. And so that could be a blow off, like maybe sometime, maybe next never. Or it could be she actually meant next weekend. And you, dude, waited an entire day to follow up and just hit her with a date. Because like sometimes women are just waiting for you to take the lead. Like, hello, just ask me out. And you're not taking initiative. Like, he's not actually proposed another date. She said she's not available those 2 days. He didn't even try to say, okay, let's go this date. And then if she says no to that date, she's just not that into you. But you kind of hit reset with hey stranger, you dropped the ball there.
Well, I do agree that he could have come over the top with another recommendation. But first of all, this conversation is making my damn skin crawl. This is so uncomfortable. The double texting and just the syntax of it. And hey, stranger. Don't ever text that ever in your life. Hey, stranger. It's terrible.
No, I might have done that. I'll have to go back through my texts.
She's not that interested. She's actually hitting, this is the beginning stages of the slow fade.
Okay, but you are like a master of the let me not take the first no for an answer. Like, I think you're really good at figuring out how to reset the situation. So let's say the slow fade is starting. What could he have said to turn it around at this point?
You know, what I would have done, because when you say, hey, do you want to hang out Sunday at 8? Something specific, which he did. He gave her 2 dates, which I'd rather just give 1. But he gave 2. That's fine. He asked her out. He did his part. She says, it's kind of busy, but maybe next week/weekend. Honestly, what I would have done to this is I would have ghosted her. What is that bullshit? Next week/weekend? Like, if you want to hang out with me, then pick another date. If you want, then resuggest another date. Ghost her.
She said next week/weekend.
Or maybe just cool, what day?
Some girls are waiting on you to make the move and make the plans. I've never been this way. Like, I would not let guys like choose the venue and all that. Like, that was not my style. But there are some girls that are like, you choose, you order, you be the man. Maybe she's waiting for him to be the man.
You know, it's funny that you kind of drill down on this. There's actually a few options here. One is the ghost, to see if she comes back and chases, and then you know she's really interested. 2 is like a kind of a somewhat curt and cold response to that, which is just you say, sure, what day are you thinking? And put her on the spot. And the third option would be wait for a while and then get off the date concept and just start bantering like your friends. You're not even worried about a date anymore. Now it's like you screwed up my offer. And you didn't give a new offer, so we'll just chat. Now I'm going to turn you into my little pen pal for a little bit. So one of those 3. But this one, I would have said, cool, what day are you thinking? But don't wait a day. That makes it awkward. When she says tomorrow, but maybe next weekend, boom, instant response. Awesome. What day are you thinking?
And then if she doesn't respond, then are you like butthurt about it? No, you just
you are butthurt, but you don't show it. Yeah, then she gets the niche.
Oh, and then if she writes you back, you say, "Who is this? I'm
new
sorry, you're
new phone. Who does? Yeah,
I don't know whose number. I don't have your number in my phone."
We built the bot I told you about on Facebook, where a Textpert bot will message you. One of the responses. So people try to mess with bots and they try to break it and they say, "Screw you, eat shit," all this other stuff when it goes out the script. And one of our like canned responses to when someone's like messing with the bot is, "New bot, who dis?"
Very clever.
All right, moving along, we've got a lady from the Netherlands, and she says, "My boyfriend cheated on me in November 2015. He confessed it in December 2015. May 2016, he received an audio note of the whore." That came in hot. He received an audio note of the whore singing happy birthday to him. Damn. He only replied with a thank you. January 2017, he finally tells me who it was because I asked. Wounds opened up again, anger, hurt, disgust. It's now July 2017, and I have occasional flashbacks and effed up visuals in my head, which makes me snap. What should I do? We love each other and want to get married in the future, but how do I get over this?
Stop keeping a tally. She's like a detective here, right? She's got a file and a dossier, and she's like, look at the chart. You see, the suspect in November 2015, the suspect was in this location, right? She's triangulated him, and it's sort of suffocating him, I think. So look, there's only two options here. You either forgave him for his transgression, or you didn't. There's not a gray area there. You either forgave him, or you did not. And so going back through all of these past texts and who sent them and who what, you're just it's like death by 1,000 cuts to your own self and to your own relationship. So you're either going to bleed out or you need to cut your losses and leave. Because if this is going to eat you alive like that, if there's probably nothing more that he can do to earn your trust. And you don't want to get married to someone that you're always going to have that sneaking feeling of suspicion over. Yeah. And a dossier.
She did some crack investigation.
Let me see your case file. I see the picture of the whore.
She's got if this doesn't work out, she's got a PI future, a career in her future. So I'm with you. Yeah, this is no good. We'll move on. The answer's in her question: anger, hurt, disgust. You can't carry that with you in a relationship and expect to be happy. Probably time to move on.
Time to move on. Time to move on to the next question.
Okay.
One more, and then we have time for a rant. Yeah. Ooh, no.
It's gonna have to be a short question if we want to squeeze in a rant.
You want to just? I know you've had something on your mind. Do you want to?
Okay, well, we'll say we get some good questions. We'll find time for them later. Let's dive in to the rant if you don't mind.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So here's the time where we give Ray the floor to rant about whatever is on his mind. What's the topic today?
Something's really been grinding my gears, Damona. Overuse of the middle finger.
Uh-oh. In a relationship?
I was at a traffic light the other day, and the guy in front of me wasn't paying attention, and then the light turns green. A few seconds later, I give him a courtesy light honk. The guy snaps to attention, is incredulous at my honk, and flips me the bird. The middle finger. The physical way to communicate. Hey, fuck you. It's a bad look, and people are giving them out like candy. Chill out with the willy-nilly F you. Next time you want to throw some shade, don't flip the bird. Instead, do this. Hit that dum-dum with the emphatic thumbs down. It gets the point across, and it's tasteful. You remember when you got in trouble with your parents, and it was always worse if they weren't really mad, just like disappointed? When you encounter the next bonehead driver on the road, just show them how disappointed you are with a vicious thumbs down.
This must really be bugging you. This must really be bugging you to the point where it's affecting your relationship. Yes?
It's just like people just throw them around like way too much. Like, and they forget that that's what it means.
You know what's weird, Ray? I haven't had anyone flip me the bird on the road in like maybe 20 years.
Wow.
How are you driving, friend?
Really? But come on, the light
really.
honk, the little light honk.
I've been honked at, but the bird is an aggressive stance.
Wait, you haven't gotten any, or you haven't given any?
Neither. I
got a little something for you.
Oh no! Put it away.
I don't know. I think if someone gives you like a loud honk, you're in your rights to give them the bird. Like some people get real unnecessarily angry about.
How do you define the light honk from the?
All right,
so
for example, when you're on like one of those unprotected lefts where it's just the green light and you have to wait for the traffic, some people get real mad and just start honking because you're like blocking behind you. And if they do that, then I like throw them one out the window.
Really?
You're a liberal finger thrower.
Wow,
I'm
that's aggressive.
Furious furious driver. I just scream and cuss in my car. And all the
I had not pegged you as one of those.
I gotta get it out before I come into the studio.
Dude, was it you that day?
No.
You know what my husband does? He's so classy. He does the shameful finger wave where he just looks at you like,
that's good.
That's good too.
You should not do that. Now my son is doing it. He did it to me though.
Ooh.
Good thing it wasn't the middle finger.
That's a good way to.
Like,
to your mom, you're just like, nope.
That's a good way to invalidate mom's power.
He's a three-nager now. He's a three-nager. Well, we have a lot more juicy questions, but we're going to have to save that for a future show. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Dates and Mates. Remember, we need you to subscribe to the show so you can be the first one to get access to new episodes the minute that they are posted. Otherwise, iTunes will hold them back from you. You want to be a subscriber, get in the know, get it fast. And check out datesandmates.com for past episodes and more on the show. And to get your free gift, whether you're single or coupled in a relationship. And of course, we want you to download Textpert so you can post your question on the Textpert app and do some answering of questions, and maybe you can be the big winner and you can take home a fancy shirt like the one I have on now that says Textpert, and we'll send it to you in your size.
Looking good.
Or you can just wear Ray's old shirt that he's been wearing all day.
It's like the halo effect.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cooler because of who used to have it.
Oh, nice.
Now it's
I'll
Star
wear
has
it. I'll
had
get
it.
it all sweaty, and I'll send it to you. No, I'm just kidding. You can get your own brand new shirt. We will see you next week with more Dates and Mates. But until then, happy dating.